children. I don't know if you remember that at all, a long
Uh-huh.
time ago.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of good memories of her. And of course of your father too. Both of them.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's say I don't see the chat window up anymore. So if you can certainly wave or something to make a sign, because I'm not seeing the chat window. Maybe Bob, you want to say something? Unmute you here.
I can unmute myself. Unfortunately, very experienced with Zoom these days. It was wonderful to see everybody here on this, although it's, if you turn off the screen share, I could see more people, Dan.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Wonderful to see everyone, and thank you, Barry, for bringing back all those memories and experiences of growing up together. Yeah, we had Jacobsons and the Ellikins both had kids all around the same age, and they all moved, I think, from Hyde Park to Skokie around the same time. So they were very, close with our parents, and all had kids the same age. So it was really kind of very, very nice. And Dorothy, I think the relationship between Donnie and my mom was just, really a close one. They both really cared for each other.
You are right.
And so that was, very special. And when we got together for bridge, it wasn't just, bridge. It was really just about spending time together. It was so
right.
And really set a precedent for us about how you keep family and look after them, etc. So 15 years it's gone by pretty quickly. I was just at dinner with the family, and I said the one thing that comes to my mind for these 15 years is I'm actually thankful that she didn't get to have to live through my dad's decline and demise, and I think that would have been so hard for her, seeing him in that way, and then to live through this current climate as well. I think it would be very, very hard for her. But she gave us all strength, and she gave us wisdom, and taught us to support one another, and really taught us the importance of education, and also from her father, the continuing studying and learning through life, and she really she was a math teacher, but she also became like she studied investments, she studied business, she helped my dad do all the bookkeeping for the business, she ran all the stocks, she did all the taxes for the business and for the home. She was she was not afraid of tackling new things. And when Dan was too smart for public school, she made sure that he got the education he needed that could challenge him, because she wasn't going to let him just be in an education which wasn't going to have him grow and challenge his limits and all. So sometimes she was running it, and so she ultimately got him into with Northwestern, where he went even during high school. So I remember when she passed away, and my reaction was, what I said at the time was, it was like the gravitational force of the earth, the universe, was completely off. And it's because she was such a major force in our lives, and such an important person, and such an important figure, and that we had such a close relationship with her, but also we measured ourselves by how she viewed us. I mean, that's maybe there's psychological problems there, but that's and then not having when anything good or bad happened, or someone was sick or some good event, the first thought was you wanted to call her and that first few months and first couple of years after she died, she passed away. It was really, really difficult. I'm sure a lot of people have that when they lose a first parent, but particularly because of the central role she had in guiding us and all that, it was really a major thing. And even now, these 15 years later, I can think about like all the things, and if she could see Gabby today, and as she got her medical degree and becomes a doctor, I just remember the thrill she had spending time with Gabby when she was in that little summer camp in Chicago, and she spent the summers there, and she made lunches for Gabby and drew special pictures on them, everything, and just the love of the first grandchild there, which is really unique. And if she could just see all the wonderful accomplishments of her grandchildren, it would and to see what kind of people they turned out to be, I know she'd be very proud. So let me just stop there.
Yeah, I want to amplify on some of the things. Our parents really, we could tell, how much they loved and they cared for each other. I mean, my dad was so devoted to my mom during her illness, but likewise, my mom, she was paid very attention to my father. If he missed his medicine or took something that food that he wasn't supposed to take, like she just picked up on it immediately. And so I think it's sort of like it was tough for my dad to be without my mom to some extent. And she thought she thought nothing was good enough for her kids. I remember when I came here and had an interview, she asked me like, what kind of questions did they ask? And she says, well, were they asking that question because they want the answer or because they want to hire you? They shouldn't be using your mind for free. And it's certainly, it pains me that, Rachel never got to see my mom. She was born a year later, and even Ben and John really only have memories from really their very youth of my mom. But all of the kids, they had a ride with her Amigo, her little motorized cart. Everyone had a cherished their place on her lap. And she really was pushing. I mean, not only she didn't want me to waste my time in school. I remember she didn't want to waste David. You had signed up for some class you wanted wasn't available, and so you signed up for Spanish. And she said, "Why are you learning Spanish for? There's like a computer class. That's probably going to be very helpful for you. You can probably and that's basically that was your start in computers, if I understand correctly." Well, maybe David, why don't you go next?
Well, it's great to see all the family and friends in these difficult times getting together virtually. Appreciate all the heartfelt words and best wishes and love to everyone. In terms of the memories, I think one of the things we learned from our parents was the empathy and putting other people ahead of yourself, and they taught us that by example. And despite the severe pain and all the operations that our mother went through, she still put other people first and rarely complained about her difficulties and being in a motorized cart and having neck fusions, and the list goes on and on. We really got used to operations in our family. And when my father had his own challenges, our mother was there to take care of her, and it was returned in spades. When my mother was battling cancer, my father was doing things with feeding tubes and injections and things that you would have never thought possible. So it was a really heroic, the way they supported each other, and they taught us how to treat our families. I remember in our mother's final days, she told me, well, the world is going to lose a lot of knowledge when I pass. And I think I speak for all of us that we go through things in life and we wonder, what would our mother have to say? What advice? So sadly, we cannot in this world turn to our mother for advice, but we miss her just the same. And it's great that we get a chance to honor her as we get together virtually. So thank you all for joining us in this Zoom meeting.
Okay, does anyone want to go next?
I'm happy to go down.
Yes, sure.
Can I share my screen? I wanted to share a couple of pictures.
Yeah, do you have, I can,
Yeah, okay, I'm going to share screen. So
multiple
you follow
participants
me?
share simultaneously, all right. You should be able to share now.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to share here. So share, hopefully you can see. And so before I share the picture, it's great to see you all. It's great to see familiar faces from that I met when I became, like part of the family, and friends that joined over time, Mindy and Adina and Benstein. So great to have you. So I met. I guess I have a few pictures I'm going to show here. This is when I met my mother-in-law, Sarane. So she had arthritis. I came for Pessah. I think the date is 1988, and that's the very first time I saw my mother-in-law. Let's see if I can. And I felt like I was 23 right away. I felt how amazing she was. I was very impressed. This is a story I like to tell. Like, it was Pessah, and she was still like, in an armchair. She could not walk, but she knew exactly where everything was in the fridge. And she would tell Bob and Dad, you go on the second shelf in the left, you're going to find the ketchup and you bring it to the table. So I didn't know. I thought that was like kind of like completely like a miracle. How would she know that? So she had a little Polaroid. So this is a picture she took when I met. So I came for Pessah. I was just a guest. Dan and I were not engaged or anything at the time, but she worked for me for Pessah. That was great. So what else do I have for picture? So I guess this is, I think, maybe the first picture, the picture of when she met Gabby. So I remember we were living in Bordeaux at that time, and my mother-in-law was still, she was on the wheelchair. She had gone through like a long trip from Chicago to Paris, then switch, then take a train, and then for some reason there were some difficulties going out of this train. So it was like I felt bad, like creating all this difficulty for her. But and somehow I think I got like a nanny keeping Gabby while I was picking up my mother-in-law with Dan at a train station. And I felt bad, like, she's going through all of that. And then the second she sees the baby, it was like, just like absolutely amazing for her. She's like her first grandchild for the first time. So this is a picture of Gabby. And after that, like we got all the people who know her, remember, like, this is a very, very typical picture of my mother-in-law, like all grandchildren except Rachel got a ride on what we call the Amigo. So we would all follow, we would be in front, we would be on the side, but the youngest grandchild always got like a little lift from my mother-in-law. That was just adorable. And she had fun with herself. She thought that was great. And when the kids love it, they ride up there and it was a lot of fun. So on the picture I want to share, this is maybe like a weekend, like actually it was interestingly, my parents are here on the right, my father and my mother, who visited Chicago this might have been at the time where I laughed the most in my life, and I explained. So this was actually the 70th birthday of my father-in-law, and this was a surprise birthday party. So some of you will recognize yourself here, Joshua and Stuart and Jamie and Dorothy, and my parents were there. And the reason I laughed so much.
And Jonathan there is on Aunt Dorothy's lap, I think.
Yeah, Jonathan is on Dorothy's lap, that's right. And so I mean, two things about this. First of all, when we would visit, my mother-in-law would always want to make sure that we all have a great time. So everything was planned. We would go to the children's museum. We would go to the park, and they would go to camp, and everything was planned. I mean, she had it like day by day and minute by minute plan. And so I'll share one picture, like